So you want to start a coaching business and you want to create influence, stick around because today we're talking about what you need to start your coaching business online. Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Maggie Mejia. I am wife to Pastor Ed, mother to Elijah, Jojo, and Olivia, founder of She Matters University, where I help women get out of their head and into their purpose. So today's video is all about creating influence and impact online and what it actually takes to be a coach. And so we're going to jump right into it. You attract who you are and not who you say you are. And what I mean by that is you can only fool someone for so long, right? A lot of people, and I want you to understand that this is the world of social media, right? It's called a feed for a reason. People are going to feed you whatever it is that they want to feed you. There's a reason for the filters and the music and the reels and the stories. It's the highlight reel of everybody's life. And so what you don't often see is all of the work that happens in the background. Even if you're thinking about a marriage, I want you to think for a second. You're in a marriage and you see all of these pictures of anniversary and this and that. And here you are thinking they have the greatest marriage in the world. And little do you know, they are on the brink of a divorce. And the reason that I say that is because we tend to compare ourselves to people's highlight reels. And then we get in our heads and we think to ourselves, why am I not always happy? Why am I not always on vacation? Why don't I have all the fancy things these people have, right? And it's because we get caught up. And so I want you to know that in order to create real impact in people's lives and to have real influence in people's lives, you want to keep it authentic. You want to keep it as real as you can possibly keep it. You want to show you're good. You want to show you're bad. You want to show you're ugly. And that's going to require some courage. It's going to require a certain level of bravery from you in order to live in that kind of authentic way. So from the very beginning, I want you to know that you attract who you are. You don't attract the people that you actually want to attract. The level in which you develop yourself, the level in which you carry yourself is going to be the level in which people interact with you. It's the law of reciprocity. So I'll give you a perfect example. If you are the type of customer that sees that there's a 30-day money-back guarantee and you purchase this product with every intention on returning it, whether it was valuable to you or not, that at the end of the day, you just wanted to get the information and get your money back, I would be very, very careful to go into business because that is the kind of person that you're going to attract. You're going to attract a bunch of yous. I know that when I decided to step into full-time ministry and go into business for myself, that I was the kind of customer that I wanted to attract. I don't mind spending money on something that I'm going to invest in myself. I don't mind spending money on something that I know is going to be more valuable to me in the long run than it is for the moment. And so I knew that if I was willing to invest in myself, that when I was ready to go into business for myself, I was going to attract that kind of person. So please know that you attract who you are and not who you say you are. Number two, if you really want to lead people online, you're going to need honesty. And honesty is simply living out the characteristics and values that you say you have. That means if you say you're a leader, then you're going to have some conversations that leaders have. See, people who are just people pleasers and people followers, then they just say and do whatever it is that people want them to say and do. Leaders get into the game for growth. Leaders get into the game for someone else. They get into the game for someone else's growth and maturity. So that comes with the hard conversations that you don't want to have. As a mother, that comes with the conversations that you don't always want to have with your children. If you find that they've done something wrong, or if you find that they have a character flaw and you need to talk about that character flaw because you're raising children with values. If you desire a closer marriage and you know that you've been hiding some stuff from your spouse, now is the time to start admitting some of that stuff, because these are the conversations that nobody wants to have, but then everybody wants the growth. Everybody wants the benefit and the payoff of being a leader or being in a more intimate relationship and having impact and influence, but nobody wants to do the hard work of having those conversations that have to be had. If you're coaching a client, you're not coaching that person just to be a consumer, right? If you're a pastor, you're not just coaching people so that they can consume, gulp, 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 right? You're not just sitting there so that people can get full off of what you're saying. You're not there to impress them. You're there to impact them. That comes with growing up. And so if you are raising someone up like a child, or if you are a pastor, minister, or business owners, you don't want people just consuming your content. You want them to contribute out of their own lives. And so if you are in it for people to become contributors off of what you are teaching them, guiding them through, coaching them through, you're going to have to be able to make it plain from the very beginning as to what the relationship actually is, where is it going, guiding them from the beginning and letting them know this is the end goal. Because when people are informed about where they're going, it is much easier to take them along. So keep them in the loop with what you're doing. As a leader, I know sometimes it can get busy and you're on the run, you're doing your thing, but don't forget the people who are following behind you. They're not just following you for any reason. They're following you because they believe you can teach them something, that what you are talking about is stuff of value. And so you don't want to leave people in the dark. What happens when you leave everyone in the dark is that it becomes a very untrustworthy kind of relationship, and it causes them to have hesitance to follow you anytime after. So always be honest, okay? Number 3, you're going to need love. I know that sounds really kumbaya. Paul said, without love, you have nothing. If you are planning on having an impact and influence online or even in the lives of your family and friends, love covers a multitude of sin. What does that mean? That means that if you're saying you value relationship, you're going to have to love people without judgment and past their offenses. Because there's going to be things that people offend you with. Maybe they mistaken who you are and your character and what you're all about. And you're going to have to love them beyond that without getting defensive. Listen, the reason we have an emotional reaction towards some of the things that are said to us is because a part of ourselves believes that that's true as well. I'll give you an example. So let's say, for instance, somebody in the street decides to say like, Maggie, you're a liar. You're always lying about everything. You say you're a leader and you don't really care about people. I would look at that person and say, okay, and just keep it pushing because they don't even know me from a hole in the wall. But if somebody who knew me very, very, very well was to say the same thing, it might feel a little different. Why does it feel a little different? Because a part of your mind and heart is thinking, can this be true? Is what they're saying true? And a part of you believes it to some extent. You might not believe it to the extent that they're saying it. It at least causes you to question if what they're saying has any validity. Why? Because they know you so well. They're in your circle. They're always around you, right? And so for them to say something like that, you almost start feeling like, I'm going to defend this because this is not who I am. Or you're going to get offended because a part of you kind of believes that about yourself as well. So what you want to do here is, if love covers a multitude of sin, you're going to have to work on loving yourself first, accepting yourself first, flaws and all. I will say that again. Flaws and all, right? You're going to have to work on loving the parts of yourself that are not perfect, because you are not going to be perfect for everybody. Somebody is always going to have something to say about what you're doing, what you're saying, who you're hanging out with. They will always have something to say. But if you start working on that self-love piece first, and understanding that your flaws are something that you're embracing and giving to the Lord every single time, and the Bible says that His strength is made perfect in your weaknesses anyway, then you understand that you can not take yourself so seriously and allow these people to make their judgments without then casting judgment and offense for them. Another thing you're going to need, number 4, is productivity. Right? People who create impact, influence, or are a coach in any capacity You need to be productive. That means gaining some real time management skills. If you are weak in time management, you're probably weak in your productivity because you don't know what to put first. I'm going to give you the number one hint, and if you want a video about this next week, let me know because we can talk about it. Productivity and time management have more to do with controlling your urges than controlling your time. And controlling your urges has to do more with mind management than anything else. Once you learn how to manage your mind around time, around your day, around your urges, and the things that actually make you waste a lot of time, that is what's going to help you with your time management. But if you want to try to create some sort of impact in anybody's life, it kind of goes back to that first rule that I said. They're going to be attracted to who you are and not who you say you are. Perfect example. We'll try to tell our kids, time is important. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your time with people. You shouldn't have so much idle time and this, that, and the third. But all our kids are seeing all day long is us on our phone, us watching TV, us not doing anything, maybe talking on the phone with our girlfriends, talking about so-and-so. Like, you have to understand that they are seeing more than you're saying, okay? Even though you want them to take those parts of their lives seriously, then you need to start taking your productivity seriously, because practicing what you preach is the number one way to influence someone's life. So that's it for impact and influence, but I just want to give you 3 small tips if you are going into life coaching or lifestyle coaching. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Listen, okay? You know what I mean. There's some things that you have to know. You have to know, number one, you are not a therapist. There is a very big difference between a life coach and a therapist, okay? You cannot diagnose people. If people have chemical imbalances or are dealing with something like severe depression, you cannot life coach them back to life. They have to have a baseline to deal with. Maybe they need some temporary medication. Maybe they need to go back to therapy or to therapy for the first time in order to get a hold of their emotions. What life coaches do is that we work with individuals who want to achieve certain goals in their life, but they just can't seem to do it. Every time they try to go on a diet, they find that they just go back to their old ways. They say they want to go into business, but for some reason, at the first thing of rejection, they kind of cower back and they don't know what can get them motivated again. Those are the type of things that I'm talking about. So we work with people's goals and we help them build upon that. The biggest difference between therapists and life coaches are that therapists basically going to diagnose you. The answer is in their hands, right? You're explaining to them what's happening and they are the ones giving you the diagnosis. So the answer is in their hands. Where life coaches feel like the answer is inside of you, you just haven't been asking yourself the right questions. And so we as lifestyle coaches are the ones helping you through that process by asking you the right questions, because we know that the answers are inside of you, but you don't know what you don't know. And oftentimes we have our own blind spots, right? Maggie has a life coach because Maggie has blind spots that I just don't know. And the same goes for anyone else. They are called blind spots for a reason. So to have someone else look from a different angle as to what you're dealing with is really going to help you achieve your goals in the long run. The second tip I want to give you is that if you are a lifestyle coach or a life coach, you are in the business of leadership. And what that means is that it comes by way of empowerment. And empowerment comes by way of responsibility. So as a life coach, you are the one empowering that person, but the way you empower that person is that you're helping them take ownership of things in their lives that have gone wrong, not because of anything else outside of themselves. A person cannot grow forward into maturity until they start taking ownership of some stuff. And a person can't take ownership of some stuff until they become aware of what they need to take ownership of. And so that is our job, both you and I as life coaches, to help empower that person and their decisions by taking personal ownership, personal responsibility, and raising that awareness so that they can be empowered to move forward in their lives. Last thing I want to mention about coaching is that coaching is not discipleship. Discipleship is more of an ongoing relationship. It looks different. It takes different forms as the person grows. They build a community around themselves and they're being discipled by many different people. But for the most part, you have a continued relationship with that person and you disciple them through the ages and stages that they go through in life. And so, you might have a person that when you begin this discipling relationship, they're a new believer and you're talking to them about Christ and you're showing them what it means to pray and you're practicing these spiritual disciplines and you're helping them understand how to read the Bible in and out of context, right? You're helping them throughout this time. The coaching relationship usually has a start date and an end date. And the reason that I say this is because if you have been life coaching someone for 14 years and the person is still in the same position that they were in when you met them, then you're just taking their money and you're making them feel good. You are not life coaching them. You need to get out of the business of life coaching. I'm telling you this with all the love in my heart. I say it because I truly, truly desire to see people change. And if you are working with someone and they have not made any forward movement in these last 14 years that you've been working with them, then I'm going to come and tell you that you wanted them to be a consumer and you have not wanted them to be a contributor to society, to a bigger purpose, to the promise that God has for them. Maybe you're in the wrong field if this is you, okay? Maybe getting a life coach yourself or going to a school that'll help you be a good life coach. It's just not for you if they've been with you and there's absolutely no change and no end in sight. I really hope you love this video and the tips that I gave you here, but I do want to give you something for free. So I want to show you some of the mind shifts and influence shifts is what I like to call them, that you need to make in order to really pursue this life and leadership of influence and impact. If you are ready to go ahead and pop inside of my free mini course, which is the 7 creative influence shifts you need to start creating impact today, then I want you to go ahead and sign up for the class and you will have it available to you immediately. It's my free gift to you. I want you to go out there and create an impact in somebody else's life in a way that you never dreamed or imagined. Love hard, be present, and always do what matters. Talk to you soon. So I told you I used to step, right? Oh, y'all not ready for this? You ready, you ready, you ready, you ready? Ready, spaghetti, you ready, you ready? Here we go, ready, ready, here we go, ready, ready? All right, I'll give you one real quick.